Ladies, welcome to this video, and today we're gonna talk about how to include cheat meals or fun food and still get results or not really ruin the results that you feel like you ruin every single time you have a cheat meal. For years, I have been an emotional eater, and that got me to develop an inflexible metabolism, getting me to become insulin resistant and build metabolic syndrome. And therefore, I can not only talk by experience, but specifically, I can talk by the way you feel as well, okay? So I know exactly how things are going. Now, before we start, I wanna, a few disclaimer. Number one, I keep hearing all the time when you make a post about cheat meals, especially in the health community, this idea that, oh my God, like, don't call it cheat, it's a bad connotation, it's bad, it's like mentally framing you to not be successful. Let me tell you this, like your body don't give a damn about the ethics and really about the morals, right? I mean, like, I understand what you're saying when it comes to you framing your mind not to think about cheat meals or that. But after years of this mentality of really going from restricting food and being super healthy only to get driven by willpower, and then like when willpower ends, you just go back to the whole pattern, which basically is I start on Monday the diet, and then the weekend I do whatever I want, and that mess you up most than one time in binge eating and party drinking. And so what I'm saying to you is like no real extreme view of food is going to help you. There is no relationship to food, by the way, like contrary to what you keep reading about, oh, you need to build a healthy relationship with food. There is no healthy relationship with food. You just eat food, the food breaks down chemically in your body. It doesn't have a mind to know what's happened with that. And today we kind of gonna unpack of really what this behavior should look like. One thing for sure is that most time you fail diets or you fail results because of the thing you allow yourself to believe. Therefore, yeah, it's true, like when you say I deserve a cheat meal, whether or not you deserve it is something that you frame in your mind to go towards something that might escalate and ruin your results. When you say mindlessly, I'm just gonna eat a few cookies, the few cookies is 150 calories like a banana. But if you do that every single day without really understanding what's going on, then you are not going to be successful either. So yeah, there is some mindfulness you need to build when it comes to eating fun food. But today you're going to learn that you can really include fun food, but also, and especially you're going to learn what to do when you feel like you already messed up, because most of you feel like you already messed up. You're going down to this spiral, like, okay, I already messed up. And you don't realize that what could have been a 500 calorie or 1,000 calorie mess up meal, cheat meal, it turns into a cheat day and then really ruins your results, telling you the story that you cannot get results because of your genetical components, which is not true at all. And therefore today I'm going to offer you 2 easy strategies to include those fun food or cheat meals or whatever you want to call it inside your diet. One thing cheat meals or fun food are not going to do is 3 things. Number one, it's not going to make you fat unless you overcome your daily calorie intake. Number 2, it's not going to mess up your metabolism or hormones, because it takes about 2 days of really hardcore cheat meals to elevate or change any sort of hormonal components. All hormones, I mean. Number 3, it will not, and I know because most of the people watching are insulin resistant as well, it will not do anything different than any other food would do inside your diet. In other words, if you have a whey protein or Greek yogurt that also elevates the insulin or some sort of carbs or some sort of food, eating a pizza will not spike your blood sugar more or will not really change anything chemically, getting that results to get worse and worse every single time. Okay, so this is a disclaimer. I want to give you 2 really logical outcome here to include your cheat meals. Okay, now that we know that cheat meals are not really bad. In fact, you eat for 2 reasons. Number 1, for survival. Number 2, for pleasure. And if you deny yourself the pleasure to eat once in a while the food that you want or love, then you will go into this psychological portion of restriction, and that could escalate of getting things worse and worse. Now, the people that like to count calorie, for example, that you're well aware of calorie and macro and all that, you know, you might benefit from this first strategy we're going to talk about. So if you plan a cheat meal, or if you let's say restrict or create a window of eating before having the cheat meals socially, like, you know, you're going to go out, and therefore you either not eat for, let's say, the afternoon, or just eat a smaller amounts of food, such as could be some vegetables, some fruit, a few protein shakes, some soups, before having the cheat meals. You know, you simply need to, as you've done already, calculate your calorie. Eating the calorie later in the day, that is not going to really change anything. You know, it's not really going to mess anything up. Like, you probably want to do the cheat meals later in the day rather than before. You also want to do it later in the day because you know, metabolically, like when you have a cheat meals with carbs, usually will get you to eat more carbs. You kind of like wants to make you eat more carbs. So therefore, if you do it later in the day, you almost reframe everything in the morning. You say, this is my last cheat meals of the day. This, I didn't mess up. I planned it. I counted it within my calories. And then when you wake up in the morning, then you start from scratch, if you want to call it this way, okay? And it's important to understand that, because you're not ruining anything, you're just starting from scratch. Also, if you go to a restaurant, the cheat meals is probably better well done in a restaurant, because you know, there is only so much dessert you can order in a restaurant before you're feeling weird, right? Or like you might have one pizza and a few beers and then a dessert, around 2,000 calories, but you'll stop there. If you do cheat meals in the day, in the house, probably, you know, it's what it is. You know how it's going to end up. Another thing, if you happen to do it in the house, let's say you want to release something like a piece of cake or whatever, don't keep it in the house. Just go and buy it, whatever you want to use, and then come back and eat it, because you know that you will not want to go back to whatever gas station or whatever store that you went to buy that thing in the first place. And again, when it comes to calorie, you just really want to factor the calorie. Just be as precise as possible. Just watch the labels. Just know more or less the sizes. Just look at the topping if you're eating a pizza. And this is really more of a advanced almost tool. The one that is more interesting, that is really it goes with human logic. It's basically the intuitive eating part. If I share this here, and I am going to share my screen right now, and this is probably the one that's going to be most useful for most people, is this idea that you should normally, if you have an intuitive eating approach, and again, this is by no means an exhaustive list. This is just a few strategies you could do. You could do other things as well. But when you want to lose weight, if you go by, you know, intuitively eating, and one more time, it's not an exhaustive list, it's just an idea, is that normally, in order for you to lose weight, you should really have two meals. If you're vegan or vegetarian, you use this kind of meals. If you eat everything, you would use this kind of meal. And that includes mostly vegetable, 1 or 2 portion of protein, and 1 healthy fat anytime in the day, most of the time in the day. You could use any kind of protein. And then in the morning and post-workout is when you're most insulin sensitive. You would include 1 or 2 more protein, but also 1 or 2, you know, servings of fruit, and starches is very important to do that, right? Eating in the morning is better, or eating when your circadian rhythm is favorable, meaning like if you do a night shift, you wake up at 12, eating the first meal, including carb, is going to be better. And these meals by nature will be something around 500 to 700 calories, you know, if you fill up the plate, right? The problem when you have a cheat meal is that you eat maybe 1,000, 2,000 calories. So basically you kind of almost like fill up the day, but your body doesn't think in days, it thinks in weeks, right? So if you did really the strategy I'm going to tell you right now, you would fix it right away. Instead, what you do, like, you feel like almost like guilty or a failure that you had that. And instead of going back to your basic routine, what you see in here, you basically starve yourself. You starve yourself for a while. And then, like, when you starve yourself for a while, your metabolism go down, and your hormones, hunger hormones, get produced, and then you start eating, and then you start binging again. So you go from binge binge restricting, binge restricting, binge restricting. And if you do like 3 binges in a week, and you have, let's say, a metabolic total daily need of 2,000 calories, and if you do two or three binge in a week of 3,000 calories, you know that by nature you need to sustain a 1,200 calorie diet almost like throughout the whole week, and that's very unsustainable. This is why people usually fail. Instead, if I stop sharing this, and keep in mind that this will be your bread and butter. This is basically what you're going back to most of the time in the day. Now, instead, when you have a cheat meals, and we're gonna, for the purpose of this video, we're gonna talk about, let me just share this thing, if it does share it, this board here, hopefully, right? We're going to talk about regular meal, which is basically what you just saw, and then there is going to be, let's see if I can do shapes here. Can I do shapes? Draw? Yeah, there you go. There is gonna be fit meals and fat meals, okay? So it's gonna be, can I do that? I never use that. Fat meals and fit meals. And then it's normal meal. These meals are, fat meal by nature is going to be probably around, say, 1,000 calories. Fit meal is gonna be around 200 to 350 calories. Fit meals are made up, if you do that, fit meals are made up basically of veggie. It's really hard to draw with this thing. It's made up of veggie, right? And protein, okay? Veggie and protein, or protein shakes, or soups, or any sort of Greek yogurt, any sort of something that is fulfilling, but it's not really detrimental. This could be a pizza, for example, or a burger, right? Pizza, right? So when you understand that there is fit meals and fat meals, and there is normal meals, which is about 700 calories, let's say, conservatively, the things that you probably want to do, it's really that, let's say you have a cheat meals here, right? You want to follow that by 2 fit meal before jumping back into a regular meal, okay? This is normal meal. Or if you know that you're gonna eat like that, you want to first eat 2 fit meals. So very veggie and protein-based meals, and then going back to this. Forget about weighing yourself. Weight is gonna be different because you're gonna retain water. Forget about thinking, you know, mentally that you're messing up, but this is basically really what happened. So let's say you have normal day, you know, 3 to 4 normal meals. When you're gonna have a cheat meals, and you know you're gonna have a cheat meals here, you're just gonna eat before and maybe 2 meals after 2 fit meals, okay? And in the in the simplicity that it is, this is basically what really needs to happen. It's so simple, okay? You might go to the scale, right, after 2 days, and weighing yourself. You know, if your weight is back to normal, and one more time, it really shouldn't be the weight as a main metric, but if your weight is back to normal, chances are you will not have stored anything from that cheat meals. This is the simple way for you to include cheat meals without feeling guilty inside your diets. Now, if you want to speed up your results when it comes to losing weight, as well as fixing your insulin resistant issue or hormonal issue, I really strongly eager you to down below here to comment GAMEPLAN call, which will mean that I will get in touch with you, and we're gonna sit down for about 30 minutes and really dissect what it's really taking for you to finally fix your insulin resistant or weight issue that you have. Jerry here, and I talk to you soon.